not know where to begin. And this is a non-spoiler review, so I can't get into specifics yet.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
Probably enough time to do a spoiler review, but to be honest with you, I just haven't had a chance to do it. And I really need to see the movie again before I can give my final thoughts on it. So I'm going to see it again tomorrow, and then I'll do a spoiler review and have it done by Christmas Eve. So bear with me on that.
And this deal's getting worse all the time.
But I'm just going to give you my first impressions and just stuff I've been thinking about over the weekend without getting into details about the plot. So, The Rise of Skywalker, it's a huge movie. So much happens in this movie. I mean, the plot is so much more, it's just way more complicated than the last two.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
I really had to just, focus because it just jumps around so much. As J.J. Abrams does that with his movies a lot, he keeps the pace pretty tight. But this one felt like it was on steroids. I mean, it was just running at breakneck speed the whole time, and you don't really get much of a chance to catch your breath. So, I mean, that's okay to an extent. I think that it is a bit of a weakness, actually, because since the movie is so fast, you don't get a chance to really enjoy or kind of consider what you're seeing until after the movie's over. And by then the ride is over and you're just like, what just happened? It's just like, I went on a roller coaster, but I don't even know what I saw. I don't even know what I experienced because it was just so fast.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Just slow down. Huh? What do you mean they blew up the Death Star? Oh,
That's not to say that there's not some emotional depth to it and there's not some moments that really hit home. There's a ton of really powerful moments in this film that just stick out. There is just a lot of heart and soul in it. But I just can't help but feel like every time they were starting to really resonate with me emotionally and with the audience emotionally, it just moved on too quickly. And I was thinking that, man, this would be so much better if you just made the movie a little bit longer. And I talked about that in a video not too long ago. I said, The Rise of Skywalker is in danger of being too short to provide a satisfying conclusion. And then I saw it, and it pretty much happened like I predicted. I mean, it's a great movie. It's a really good movie. And I think it's one of those movies that I'll like it the more I watch it.
This deal is very fair, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
I'm still processing it, but it's a great movie. But it is too darn short. And I've been talking to a few people about this, and they're like, you know what? Skywalker saga has been going on for 40 years. It's okay for it to end. But yeah, people, this trilogy just got started. The story takes place in such a short amount of time. I don't really think that anyone has been given proper time to appreciate these characters. And I don't know if somebody decided that if you're going to make a trilogy, it can only be 3 movies, but that's not true. You can make 4 or 5 movies until you're done. And really, this finale should have been 2 parts. There's just too much that happens to also be wrapped up in the same movie. It's just too much. There's too much introduced in this movie that should have been given more proper time to develop. And, I love the first 2 movies in this trilogy. I love Force Awakens. I love The Last Jedi for different reasons. And there's some things about both of them that I really don't like. And so, yeah, but I mean, it's visually incredible. The soundtrack, the score is amazing. John Williams did an amazing job. I think this was his best effort in this whole trilogy. I think he just gave it his all, and it was excellent. All the characters are fantastic. There's some new ones they add. Keri Russell playing as Zori Bliss. That's a great character. Naomi Aki as Jannah. Is it Jannah? I'm trying to think her name. I only heard it like once or twice in the movie, but she's fantastic. A really, really cool character. And, of course, our main characters are all awesome. I mean, I don't think I've ever loved Kylo Ren and Rey more than I do now. Especially, and I know I'm a little biased, but, I love Kylo Ren so much in this movie. Ian McDiarmid coming back as the Emperor is fantastic. The plot jumps around, so much, and it can be a little hard to follow in the first hour, but you follow enough of it to where you can buy into it, and so it's enjoyable in that way. But might be a problem for some other people. See, it's so hard to talk about this movie without getting into spoilers, but there are some complaints that it retcons The Last Jedi in a lot of ways, and some people may like that, some people may not. I do think it retcons quite a bit of The Last Jedi, but I'm not going to go into specifics about that. I'm just going to say that I think Abrams did not like what Johnson did with The Last Jedi.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
And so he definitely course corrected. And I don't know that that necessarily made for a better movie, but in fact, it seems like it created its own problems. And I know everybody's going to be like, well, Johnson, it's all Johnson's fault. And I have some thoughts about that. But really, at the end of the day, I don't think as a Star Wars film that it by no means was it my favorite Star Wars film. I can say that much. And I don't know that it was really the conclusion that this saga deserves. And the only reason I say that is because it's so short, and the concepts that it introduces are given such little amount of time to develop that I really just can't help but think the movie should have been longer. I cannot get past that. I was afraid it was going to be too short, and it is. It just really is. There's so much good that happens in this movie, and there's so much to love and enjoy about it, but it's so fast that you can't really process it. And, in one sense, that may be a good thing because it's going to encourage multiple viewings, and you're going to get a little bit more out of it every time. But like The Last Jedi, for example, is a longer movie and a slower movie by far. And it's incredibly nuanced and complex, and I had to watch it so many times and analyze it because, for one thing, I wanted to know why it was so divisive, but another thing is that I just wanted to understand it and see if I liked it more or less. The Skywalker saga is over. There's part of me that's secretly hoping that J.J. Abrams is going to just come out on social media and to everybody and be like, "Ha-ha! Gotcha! I was just kidding, guys. Star Wars Episode 10 is coming to theaters soon." Like, that would be the greatest thing ever, because as much as I love this movie, this trilogy introduced some new things, and they just didn't develop them like they should. Everything felt kind of underdeveloped for most of the trilogy. It's not until this film that I really feel like certain characters' arcs are fully explored. And if you're going to bring back the Emperor for one thing, and you're not going to really hint at it in the previous two, first of all, that makes me think that it actually wasn't planned, even if it was. And secondly, it makes the conclusion feel like a little bit more of like a damage control. It's like if they weren't planning on killing Snoke, and then they decide to bring back the Emperor as the villain, and which I don't really care because I didn't like Snoke. I didn't really care about him. So I didn't have a problem with him dying. But if they're going to bring back the Emperor, then I think they should have done it a while ago. They should have introduced him a while ago. I don't know, guys. As a movie, though, it works pretty well. It is a little bit of a mess. I mean, it just jumps around so much, and I don't know that... I think it makes it a little less cohesive in that way. It's a little bit convoluted and not as tight as like what Abrams did with The Force Awakens. But again, all he had to do was set up the foundation for that trilogy. He didn't have to finish it. He also didn't have to finish the whole saga. So honestly, at the end of the day, I think I am just a little bit mixed, and I think I'm going to have to see it a couple more times before I'm able to fully accept what it delivers. It's not to say that it's a bad movie, and it's not to say that it's like super disappointing, because I really do love it, but it's like it's almost like I need to learn to love it because it throws so much at me that I need to accept. Like, I just take a while to adjust to things, maybe people can accept things faster than I can in terms of movies, but I just need time to process. So anyways, that's about all I have for you without getting into spoilers. So I really encourage you to watch it, because even if you don't like this trilogy, I would rather, if it were me, I would rather know how it ends, because I care too much about these characters. I care too much about the past to not know what happens, because they're going to be talking about it for years, and these movies aren't going anywhere. They exist. I don't know what happens from here on out, but these movies exist. So yeah, still secretly holding out for episode 10. I'm just saying, I think there's plenty of material they could run with and plenty of characters they can use, and there's just so many things they could do easily for episode 10. And I don't know, it makes me kind of sad because I think, they only gave themselves 2 years in between each saga film. So if they had taken their time, even give themselves 1 more year, push this back to December of next year, like, would we get a better movie? I think so. I think the whole saga would have been better off if they had just delayed each movie 1 more year so that they could make sure the story is tight as possible, make sure the visual effects are as good as possible. I'm a little disappointed that they definitely seem to rush this. That I'm so mixed about this. I really love this movie. I want to love it more, but I need to do that spoiler review because I need to talk to you freely about this. We need to talk. I am totally not in denial about all of this and that the Skywalker saga is totally over. Totally not in denial about it at all.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, okay. Good talk. Well, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go cry myself to sleep now. Okay, bye.